Hey guys, Miss Warren here. Today I'm going to be working on my final portrait. I have some nice manila paper here. It's kind of flesh toned but lighter. So the advantage to this type of paper is that you can shade and get it darker, or you can highlight it with white and white will show up a little bit on this paper. So we're going to start with a mid-tone manila paper because it's kind of close to flesh tone. Now I am going to be drawing a dual portrait of myself and my friend Trisha. So I'm going to be turning my paper sideways. If you are drawing just one single person, I recommend that you turn your paper vertically. This is called portrait. Instead of horizontally, this is called landscape, because normally portraits are drawn this way and landscapes are drawn this way. Now, because I have two people in my picture, I'm going to need to turn it to the side. Now, the first thing I want to look at is, do I want that much head space? Oh, sorry, let me scooch this down. Like, do I need this much head space? Should I zoom in a little bit? I want to fill the frame with the people. So I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit. Kind of center in on us some. I really like this little negative space here in between us. That's going to make it look a little more interesting. So then I'm going to start drawing. Now, continuously as you draw, you want to compare size, shape, and placement of each of the features and the objects. So I think what I'm going to start with is my face shape. Now, my top of my head isn't quite to the top of the page, but it's about here. Sometimes I like to put little marks to kind of get a feel about how big I want stuff. And my chin is probably right about here. So it takes up almost 2/3 of the paper. My face does here in length. And then it's going to be more over this way than that way. So probably the widest part of my face will probably be about here. Okay, so now that I have some general markings about how large I want my face, so that's size, and where I want to put my face, placement, now I'm going to work on shape. Looking closely and observing closely, I'm going to kind of follow this line here to get my kind of hairline in there. Kind of scoop out at the cheek because I kind of have round cheeks. And then scoop down here. Now for this particular drawing, we're not going to shade in with our pencil. We're going to just do a contour line drawing because eventually I want to color. And if you do a bunch of shading with your pencil, you're not going to be able to color it. So you actually can't see my ear here, which is interesting. I thought you would be able to see it, but I guess my cheek is enough in the way to where you can't see my ear. But you can see my hair has a few little flyaways there because the wind was blowing. You can see my sunglasses. Okay, so then you can see like my neck kind of comes in this way. I have a little bit of a wrinkle in my neck because my head is turned. A little trapezius muscle here. And my sleeve kind of wraps around. And my sleeve gets really wrinkledy over here. So you just continuously want to be looking at your photo. Here, I have it just right off screen. You want to continuously look at it the whole time. Here, I'll put it below me so y'all can see what I'm looking at. So the whole time, I almost am looking more at the photograph than I am at what my hands are doing. Okay, so now my eyes are going to be right about here where that scoop in goes. I'm going to draw a very light line to make sure that my two eyes line up. I'm going to stop with my forehead line here because then that starts to get into where Trisha's face falls. Get kind of the sunglasses up there. Okay, now I'm going to carefully look at what shape are my eyes because I'm smiling, so they're a lot more scrunched. They're almost like a tiny sliver. My eyebrow falls right above. You can see my deeper set eyelid and where my bottom lid wraps around my eyeball too here. The shape of my nose. So the nose is going to come, so I'm going to compare it to the edge of my face here. So the nose comes, it ends a little bit before the cheek finishes being round here and my jawline starts. So the nose is actually ends a little bit higher than I was originally going to put it. You need to pay attention to where it goes on the face compared to all the other features. Put my pupil in there. I don't want to shade too much because I'm going to be mostly using colors. Now this line, when I finally color, isn't going to be a harsh line because if you draw harsh lines where the smile is, you're going to look really old. You want to mostly depend on shadows. My forehead's a little bit wider than that. So you can always go back and correct stuff too. I think my chin's a little bit smaller than that now that I'm getting the other features in there. Now, smiling with your teeth showing is harder to draw than a relaxed face. I'm just letting y'all know, especially if you've never drawn teeth before. And drawing somebody making a silly face is harder than smiling. So instead of drawing a harsh line between the teeth, I'm just going to kind of draw the top of the shape of the teeth. Indicate just a little bit of shadow there without coloring it in too much. Then I'm going to indicate where the bottom of the teeth go instead of drawing a harsh line all the way through, because sometimes when you draw a harsh line all the way through on teeth, it makes it look like there's a big gap in the teeth. Thicken up my eyebrow just a little bit. I think my nostril gets a little bit wider than that. It's more like over here. And I have a little bit of a shadow on the front of my nose, which I'm going to just indicate lightly. I'm not going to color it in real dark because I want to use the colors later on. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue comparing size, shape, and position, continuing to reference my photo. I'm going to post my drawing, but it's going to be a speed drawing after this point.